Hello and welcome to Ufology Explored. Today's episode will be covering local sightings in my area, which is northwest Durham, Stanhope and Consett, England. Whilst going on holiday to Rhodes Town, I was on a Jet 2 flight LS581 from Newcastle to Rhodes. It was approximately 16:45 GMT and we were travelling at 30 to 35,000 feet. I was sat 2 to 3 rows in front of the wings. I was looking out the window, looking at another airliner at the same height, coming in the opposite direction. I started looking at the ground, and I would say probably directly underneath me, I observed a white disc travelling again in the opposite direction. I couldn't tell how high it was, but it was certainly underneath anyway. I couldn't tell you the size. I would say approximately 30 to 50 feet in diameter. There was no sign of wings or any propulsion systems or things like that. It was just a disc, no seams either or joints. I hadn't been drinking and I don't take drugs, and the incident lasted about 2 to 3 seconds. I think it was somewhere over northern Germany or southern Holland where it happened. Another incident took place in Stanhope in the 90s. It was a morning. The observer observed a metallic silver sphere about 2 meters in diameter. It flew silently overhead, and it was said it was very fast, and there was a blast of air afterwards. He didn't say which direction it was travelling in. A few seconds later, a Tornado fighter aircraft of the Royal Air Force came overhead, passed overhead. He said it seemed to be following the sphere. The incident lasted about 5 to 10 seconds. The witness doesn't drink and he doesn't take drugs. He was in the military, and now he doesn't believe in UFOs. Another incident happened on the Stanhope to Consett Road around 2010 in the late afternoon. There was 3 male adults travelling back from Consett. They'd been to the betting shop, the bookies, when they had to stop to use to relieve themselves, basically. And 2 of them got out. While they were doing what they were doing, they observed a black triangular object with lights at each corner in the sky nearby. They obviously cut short what they were doing and hurriedly got back into the car and sped off. 2 of them, they were shaken. None of them were drinking or take drugs, and they weren't interested in UFOs. Well, not at that time anyway, and they don't have any flights of fancy, certainly the one I know. The last one is again myself. I was at work. I used to work in a nursing home. This happened in May 2014 at 11:55 a.m. I reported to MOVE on that case is 76346. I took a client out for a cigarette, and the weather was warm with wispy clouds, and I observed 2 metallic copper-coloured spheres travelling against the wind. There was no form of propulsion, no wings, no exhaust, rotor blades, no joins, no seams, and the sun glinted off the spheres, which they kept the same distance apart and the same speed constantly. They didn't speed up, didn't slow down or anything like that. I told the client what I was seeing. He was in a wheelchair at the time, and he was obscured by a building. The 2 objects entered or went behind a thin, transparent, wispy cloud at the time. They didn't come out the other side, which should have only took a few seconds. And I watched for several minutes, and they didn't come out. It lasted about 10 to 15 seconds. Definitely wasn't a balloon or an aircraft, or drones. People ask why we don't see them constantly. Well, we don't walk about looking up at the skies constantly. Well, I certainly don't. I like to know where I'm walking. I would think there's quite a few in the skies we just don't see. Might maybe see, perhaps we see something glinting or not. Whether or not people believe it or not, it's a different thing, and whether they're extraterrestrial or not is also a different thing. Anyway, that about wraps up this quick one. So if you've liked it, please leave a comment and like and subscribe, and I shall talk to you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye. Be safe.